Good evening, fellow YouTubers. My name is Tristan. Doing a new video style, trying to open it more up. Today will be Q&A and explaining a little bit more things about my bike. Alright, I have a 2015 Kawasaki Zx14. I bought the bike at Quinn O's bike sales in Middle Tennessee. I've had the bike maybe 4 months now. Bought it late June and received it in July. Since I bought it, I've done a couple of things, but I already explained most of that stuff. Today will be about our Q&As. One question I had that I was asked by Chicken. Why don't you do a bigger back tire if it's a drag bike? The reason why I don't do a bigger back tire is because a 190 tire on 6-inch rim sits pretty flat. So you got 6-inch rim and you got 190 tire. The 190 tire I use is a Shinko Pro hookup, and that Shinko Pro hookup with that 6-inch tire is flat. And if I were to put a 200 of that tire, it wouldn't be as flat because the tire want to bulge out, so it's pulling. It had to bulge out to be flat, so it's pulling more in. And so I'm losing just that little bit of more contact. Plus, another thing that's wrong with a 200 tire when you're dragging is weight. Per 1 ounce on a 17-inch rim at 100 miles per hour, that 1 ounce equals 25 pounds of rotating mass. So you take that and you eliminate that. That's like I got rid of my rear brake. I got rid of the rotor, the caliper, and all that stuff. Plan on doing rear sets so I can get rid of the cylinder and the lever. And I plan on doing the carbon fiber. And that'll loosen up some more weight. But that's not spun weight. We're talking about spun weight. Also on my bike, I have a Pirelli, and it's their 90, 80, 17. It's what people call a pro street tire, grudge tire, but it's really for a moped, to be honest truth. And that 190/80 has the same height of a 120/60, which is smaller than a 120/70. But not only is it shorter than the 120/70 comes stock on it, it weighs a lot less by being thinner. And with my pro hookups, the reason why I go pro hookups, they're a soft carcass style tire. They're not a radial tire, so it's no steel bead. So they're lighter. They're a lot lighter than a radial tire, and they're a softer compound, and they're a softer tire. So when I drop it down to my race weight, and then I lower the pressure, by lowering the pressure, that tire spreads out on my launches. All right, let me see what else I was asked. Just bear with me. This is my first time ever doing these. So, all right. I was asked about by Race Addicts 321 about my RPMs. I have my bike Gould Flash because I have a built-in top end. Instead of going 500 over on the Flash, we went a little bit over 1,000 over. And stock is like 11,000. and that's what I gathered. But my bike red limit is about 12.3. That's 12,300. And with that, with the ported heads, the milled, ported, polished, heavy valve springs, and new valves and all that stuff, it's able to take that. The rods are stronger than the Gen 1s. The pistons are stronger than the Gen 1. And then with me doing the top end, it just even made it more stronger. So it's capable of handling that amount of, until I get it forged pistons and forged rods, then it will stay like that. And then I pretty much want to go to part 13.5. That's 13,500. And that'll be for race. You know, I'm just driving the bike now, occasionally, but it will be my dedicated race bike, as I've been doing, because I've had 2 Gen 1s prior to this one, and every time I get a new bike, the bike prior to that becomes a dedicated race bike. Right. And Race Addict 321 also commented about my top speed. Well, I use a GPS. I use a Garmin GPS, and it costs me about like $600. That's what I use to calculate my miles per hour. But with my 16 front sprocket and my 45 I have in it right now, I'm able to do 196, and I GPS that, and that was basically topping it out right at red limiter 6th gear. I have multiple sprockets. I have a 17, I have a 16 for the front, I got a 48, I got a 45 and a 42 for my bike also. And the 48 that came off of it, this, and I got a 42, and then I got my 45. I've changed the sprockets and I worked around. Like I said before, I'm still testing this bike out. This is my first Gen 2, and it's so much different from the clutch, from the handling, from the weight distribution, and everything's so much different. That's the reason why I really have not torn it down like I've done the other ones and did all this stuff. I really wanted to see what can this bike do in a traditional stock form. Alright, it is top end built, but it has stock block, stock motor, stock crank, stock rod, stock pistons, you know. It's got the oil upgrades, filter, oil pan, the gears and stuff, but the main working components are stock in this bike. And results of BB, yes, I use, traditionally I was using the Stealth Softs and Stealth Regulars. Stealth Regulars, I eat them up. This couldn't get traction. Stealth Soft, this is on the street. Stealth Soft's a little bit better. I usually run those, but this year I wanted to try out just using the Shinko hookups on the street. And at 32 psi, that tire runs just like the softs, pretty much. It does give a little bit of flex when you go around turns at 100 plus, but I hardly ever go around turns at 100 plus. I mean, I get on the interstate, I ride with my buddies, we take back roads, but it really doesn't affect me. Booster King 1, Holly. He said, he asked about my injectors. The reason why I switched from the 06 to the 06, 07 injectors is because they just flow a little bit better. When you take the stock injectors of the Gen 2s and the later Gen 1s, they only flow from 330 to 340 cc's. When you take the earlier Gen 1s, they flow from the 06, 07s, they flow 400 to 410. And I have some that I flow tested, they were all up in the 413s. And 410 over the 340, that's 70 cc increase. And because I run a bigger shot of nitrous now than I did with the stock and all that stuff, I really didn't want to take the chance of maxing out the stock, the ones that came with this injectors, and causing one to freeze up or it run lean while I'm running nitrous and it explode. With that, those injectors, another thing that's different, yes, the ones that come stock have the 10 pin. The 06, 08, the 06 to 07 have the 8 pinholes. And that's the only thing different. So, other than the flow, they flow a little bit bigger. The holes are bigger. And lately on my Facebook and my YouTube, people been asking about my pipe. Does it scrape the ground? Bet it's so hard to go around on right turns and all this. All right, let me back up a little bit. You see my pipe? I took in this bracket, and cut about 1.5 inches off of it. When I cut the 1.5 inches off of it, I flipped it around, bolted it in. That part that was not cut, that smoothed around, that was actually on the bottom, is now on the top. The one that used to bolt down to the can. So I moved it up, re-bolted it in. Now I don't use my brake lever, it doesn't move. So I had that pipe rested up on that brake lever. So it moved by doing that. It moved the angle of that pipe up 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So now instead of the pipe going straight and kind of coming down, it actually angles up, as you can see. So I have, when it angles up, it pulls more up here. So I have tons of room that I could make a turn. Now I'm not dragging knees. There's nowhere around here in South Central Kentucky that I could really drag knees. I mean, I'm on the interstate doing 160 going around slight bends, take back roads to like Nashville, where I'm from, and it doesn't affect my riding skills or anything. And I've been riding stretch bikes since I think 2008 when I had my first stretch bike. 2007 when I had my first stretch bike. So I'm kind of used to it. It doesn't affect me anymore. But lately, I've been trying to figure out ways to do weight savings and stuff like that. I took off the stock bar ends. Once I took one off and I felt how heavy it is, I was like, they got to come off. So I just took both of them off. Other than that, I mean, as you see, I'm missing my lower fairing. It's mostly because of this, but by not having that lower fairing, that's more weight taken off. I have the Adams cut seat, as you know. It's a little bit more weight taken off. I have the carbon fiber heel guards. It's a little bit more weight taken off. And I plan on going to Superbike front rotors. And I have lightweight aluminum wheels on the way also. They're gold.